Hello, thank you for joining the webinar. We'll get started shortly here. On the call today is Ana Machado, who is the Assistant Director of the program, as well as Jason Breyer, who is a professor in the program, and my name is Arthur O'Connor, and I'm the Director of the program. Purpose of today's call is to just give you a quick overview of our program. We'll zip through a slide deck and then spend most of the time hopefully answering your questions, which I encourage you to do in the Q&A function in the Zoom chat, which is on your toolbar with the Q&A symbol. I guess I should first ask, can everyone hear me? Just gonna use the Q&A or the chat function to say yes. Okay, people are saying yes. Okay, that's good. Wunderbar. Okay, so like I said, we're just going to go through a slide deck really quick and then spend most of the time talking to you, responding to your questions as you put them in the Q&A chat. So our mission is to help you earn the credentials and acquire the knowledge and skills for your next career move or advancement. We offer advanced program instruction in R and Python, which are the two most popular languages in the data science world. We offer this at a very reasonable tuition, certainly at a fraction of more traditional classroom-based schools. And we have, we believe, very reasonable requirements for acceptance. So we don't require a GRE. We look for a GPA of 3.0 or greater. However, we will have some flexibility in that based on your background and how long you've been in school or have been out of school. We feel that, you know, our program is probably one of the best investments you can make in yourself as a value proposition. Data science has been called one of these hybrid jobs in the sense that it involves both technical and creative thinking, and it's a very fast-paying and fast-growing occupation. And probably most importantly for the message for you on this call is that we're an online program, so we help enable you to sort of more easily balance your work life and professional life with study time. And our sort of mantra is we help you advance your career without having to interrupt it. We've been very fortunate to get increased recognition in the marketplace for our program. So as I like to tell attendees in these conferences, you may never have heard of CUNY SPS, but if you're in the data science world, you would probably know about our program. So we're getting increased market recognition. Just to give you a quick view of kind of when I said it was a highly compensated job, this gives you some idea for individual contributors at various years of experience. The salary ranges have been holding steady for the individual contributors. For the manager level, it's been fairly substantial and holding steady at those numbers, which I'm sure you can see in the sources, the Birchworks people who specialize in data science. But the most important slide that I'd like you to look at is this one. Basically, this says that hiring continues to be very, very healthy. The blue line is the first 2 quarters. The orange line is the second 2 quarters of this year. And you can see that organizations are, most of them are increasing their hiring of data science and analytics teams. We offer experienced practitioners as your instructors. So it gives the benefit of sort of real world, up-to-date knowledge on what's going on in these fields. For more information on their backgrounds, you can go to the CUNY contact Information posted on that link, on the directory link that's on the bottom of that slide. If we had to bunch up and summarize our learning objectives of the program at the program level, I would say that it's a fourth, data acquisition and management, how to wrangle data, how to get it in some reasonable format, applied math and statistics, to understand how these models work, modeling, using different statistical machine learning modeling to design, build, and test and access models, and then dissemination, learning how to sort of cogently explain these models and what they mean. I mentioned we were an online program. We offer a mix of synchronous and asynchronous interaction. So while most of the information as a student you will see is posted on a course site called Blackboard, we have weekly video conference calls that are conducted live but also recorded. So as the weekly class lectures, we focus on project and portfolio work samples that you can use and embed them in your CV to show that you know and understand these techniques. We foster teamwork and collaboration. Many projects are done on a team basis. Some courses have their own Slack sites to facilitate collaboration and communication. And we have the following four platforms that we use, 5 platforms we use for as a student that you'll use. That's CUNY First, which is a student information management system, Blackboard, which is the learning management system, email, and then we have Facebook and LinkedIn for community building and whatnot. Many people ask, so what it's like to teach, what it's like to take an online course. Many of you probably are new to this experience. We try to explain it as the what, or the content is very similar. It's the how it's delivered. That's a bit different. There's a lot reliance on asynchronous communications and self-driven learning. The benefits is it's fast-paced, but within certain either 14 or 15-week periods, depending how the calendar of the semester balances out. The challenges are that it requires a bit of self-discipline and time management, and sometimes you have to be your own advocate. So if you have an issue, you really need to speak up, confront your instructor, engage in dialogue with them. So the profile of a successful online student is not at all dissimilar to the profile of a successful remote worker, and there's a link on that at the bottom of that slide. So admissions requirements, we require a bachelor's degree from an accredited institution. Spoke about the GPA, the transcript, the personal statement, resume, 2 letters of recommendations, challenge tests. The deadline to submit all these requirements is December 9th, but there's also a priority deadline of November 4th. And if you do it by the priority deadline, you get the benefit of receiving transfer credit and just more time to do some of the things that are listed at the bottom of that slide. This is the course curriculum. Those 7 required courses are offered every semester. The electives are offered on a sort of as required basis. Those are the 4 electives we're going to be offering this coming January semester, which we call our spring semester. And the timeline is, you heard about the application deadlines, either the priority deadline, November 4th, or the actual deadline, December 9th. We have what I call our bridge workshops. We'll evaluate your application and determine if you need some help in one of 3 categories, SQL programming, math, or R programming. And those are free workshops that we offer to students who need a little help getting up to speed. Those will take place between January 3rd and January 21st. Classes start on January 28th. The blue boxes on the top of the chart are the required courses, and those courses on the bottom of the slide, with the exception of the capstone, which is a required course, are the electives that are offered. And now we come to the most important part, the questions and answers, and I'll ask my colleagues to help me answer some of these questions. First one I see is, what are the stats for employment after graduation? And if SPS has partnerships to establish their students in the field? Most of our students are already working. They're working adults. So we don't have stats for, what new jobs they get as a result, or what promotions they get as a result of taking this degree. But we do have we're starting to have an active community environment. We have postings job postings that we share, that alumni share on both Facebook and LinkedIn. And so we do it that way, but we don't have any partnerships per se right now. Is work experience considered admissions? I would say yes, but we still, okay. Anna, would you like to answer that?
For the work experience.
I thought I saw a message saying that you wanted to answer that, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, yeah. I mean, we do take in consideration many factors, and work experience is one of them. Your recommendation letters, your results on the assessment test, and your statement of purpose. That's very important. The reviewers read that very carefully and see why you want to be in the data science field. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Will there be help in job placement? No, we don't. We have a career services function at the school that does some of that, but we in the department don't do that, although we have helped students get jobs in the past, and we will continue to do that. Michael asked if there are any sample challenge tests available. No.
Sorry.
But if you're interested in boning up on certain topics that are relevant to this program, here are some recommended free courses that you can take and just see how you do on these courses that will certainly help you prepare for the program. Can we enroll even though we are in progress or completing our degree? I'm sorry, as I mentioned before, you need to have completed a bachelor's degree in order to be considered in the application as a viable applicant. When will the challenge take place and how? Michael, we send you a multiple choice challenge exam. Actually, it's in the application, and you fill it out and then we evaluate that.
So there's asking. Oh, go ahead, Arthur.
No, go ahead. No, you go.
I was going to look at for the admissions requirement. There is no hard requirement for computer science or related bachelors. I think the major requirement just some calculus as an undergraduate. Having some exposure to programming, I think, is important. There's the bridge workshop too to kind of help you get up to speed there.
We have applicants from all.
Yeah, I encourage social scientists and other fields. I mean, I had a nursing student in the spring, and yeah.
There's people on the finance industries that take the masters, and also in the health industry. We have a lot of people who work for insurance companies, for hospitals.
I just want to answer some of the questions that are in the chat. Evening classes are part-time. do those weekly calls at night, given the fact that most of our students are working adults. And most of our students do take the program part-time. So meaning they take 2 courses a semester, not 4 or 5. Again, because they're working full-time, and that's just too big of a workload. Some of them do that, but most of them just take it part-time.
So I think Anna's asking, it is open to international students, and also some details on the challenge exam. So there's, I think there's 32 questions. There's a section on SQL, section on basic R programming, and a section mathematics, we'll say broadly, kind of basic, some basic mathematics stuff. So that's not really pass fail. I guess if you get below a certain threshold, then you may be conditionally admitted. You just have to take those free workshops.
Questions in the chat box.
Oh, geez, I'm sorry. I'm looking.
No. You guys, you guys do the Q&A. I'll do the chat box. The questions are a lot easier here. The timing of the lectures is sometime in the evening, so anywhere as early as, I'd say 6:30 is probably the earliest. Maybe 8:30 is the latest. And yes, I've lost my place now. Another question about the challenge exam, which I think we already answered. Is a challenge exam based on something we need to do prior to applying to the program? Something we need to do. We look for competencies in those areas that Jason just described. So if you do have some programming background, you do have some applied math background, that would be what you would need to pass the challenge exam.
Alana's asking, who knows Java. So if you've done Java and you don't know R, then the workshop would help. So that portion of the challenge exam might be, I mean, some of it, if you have program in Java, programming structures are kind of very similar, you might be able to answer them, but it might be worthwhile anyways to just take the 3-week workshop to get sort of baseline. And then I teach 606, which is generally a course students take the first semester. And so throughout that course, you will definitely become much more proficient in R. But it's good to have just a little bit of background. I like it when students come in and they've already got it installed and can run some basic commands.
Well, that's an interesting question. Next one.
What's the
Can this program be feasible for someone with a non-technical background? I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry.
Yes, absolutely yes.
I would like to say yes.
I'm saying yes, Jason.
Yes.
Someone who has a bachelor's in chemistry.
But again, if you, I would recommend you take a look at. You don't have to fully complete those recommended courses, but if you took a look at some of the Python and R courses, and those MOOCs, and you see if you can have some and develop some familiarity with the syntax, I think that would go a long way in helping you.
I would presume in chemistry you probably took a full calculus sequence. Then that is going to give you a really strong foundation, I think. And then if you have never programmed before, I think you can pick that up. But as Arthur suggested, looking at some of those MOOCs might be a good idea between now and January, and that bridge workshop I think would be helpful. But yes, the answer is absolutely yes. We get students from pretty broad backgrounds, and I think that kind of domain knowledge would be interesting. You'd pick some interesting projects. So recording, I guess it's being recorded. Will this be shared?
That's a marketing question.
Yes, we actually we record this this presentation, and then we like to send a follow-up email in about 5 days with a playlist of videos about the program and also this presentation.
All right, thank you, Darian.
Thank you.
No
Yeah.
problem.
I think you take the challenge exam only once. I mean, the stakes are really in terms of whether or not you're required to take the bridge workshops or not. Again, those are free. So, so Daniel's asking, I think
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I think we've had students go on to PhD.
I mean,
PhD
not a
lot.
lot of them, but some, yeah.
There aren't a whole lot of PhD programs in data science, if that's what you're thinking. I think I know NYU has one and maybe Stanford, but maybe Arthur might know better. It's still relatively new.
Yeah, I mean, PhDs in data science are rare, but they, it's either computer science or some type of research. But they do, as a general rule, there's a few that go for their doctoral program.
Greg's asking, I think it's a mix. We do have some students who are already working as data analysts or data scientists and are getting the credential, but I think I actually might dare say they're a minority. A lot of people are working in companies where they want to go into the data science within their business or in their company. I see a lot of students like that. It's such a new field. I don't think people have a ton of experience there. So Maria is saying the whole program is online. So I don't know what the mix you're referring to. So we have students from all over the country. And I think this semester I have one student in Scotland and another student in Dubai. So looks like Anna's typing something. So question about changing curriculum based on the work environment like COVID. We try to adapt to things. I think like myself, statistics and probabilities fairly standard, but I try to bring in more current data sets or examples. I know in the last year, a lot of students picked COVID data sets to do their project in my course. The techniques are sort of, been around for a very long time, but what they're applied to, I think that's one of the cool things about data science is it's applicable to virtually any domain. So if you come from like chemistry, or if you come from psychology, or you come from, nursing, you can apply data science to all those fields. And so there's, I think, flexibility in there. We most of our courses have some kind of project you're going to work on. So you're going to often work with the data set of your choosing and sort of applying those techniques to that data set. Joshua, that's a good question. What is the most common misunderstanding that you see applicants have when applying?
Wow.
That is wow. Okay.
Joshua gets a gold star for.
Yeah. Stump the panelists.
Yeah. Wow.
Don't know. I don't know if I have a good answer for that. I don't know if there's like a general or one that stands out.
I do have one, just one. Sometimes they underestimate the amount of work that is required, and they take on more courses than we recommend. For instance, when someone is working full-time job and has a family, we always say just do it part-time and take 2 courses. And some people just take 4 or 5. And then they end up realizing that it's not feasible, that it's better to take it part-time, and they end up dropping courses. So that's what I've seen in my experience. I wouldn't know any other thing that,
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on what Anna's saying. I think Yeah, it's not a misunderstanding about data science, which is where I started to first think, but it's a misunderstanding about what online learning is. And I think Arthur had a really good slide there. It will require quite a bit more self-discipline to, complete the work on time. And if you follow the schedule and what, I or other instructors are laying out what to do week to week, that's fine. You're going to do a lot of work on your own. We do have those weekly synchronous meetups, which are tremendously valuable. But if you haven't taken an online course, essentially if a lot of times in traditional courses, you might be doing work in a classroom with your peers. Like that kind of work is now going to be independent work. And so that time together is really precious. And so I and other instructors use it as a way of trying to distill and kind of convey the key concepts, but the practice is going to require your own self-discipline to do that. So it is different. I think this perception is changing over time. I know maybe as much as a decade ago, online was always considered easier, but I think it's pretty clear that online often is more time and is actually harder. So don't expect it to be easier than a traditional face-to-face class. It's very likely for a lot of students going to be harder. But the flexibility it provides is really tremendous. Anonymous is asking, do we have a for-profit partner? We don't have any for-profit partner. Our instructors develop the courses. They're CUNY SPS courses. If that's what you're asking, we don't hire out, or we hire our instructors. The instructors that are teaching the courses are almost always the ones that develop the course. So first degree in computer science, yes. I think everybody has to take the assessment test.
Everybody, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have an undergraduate in mathematics. My undergraduate is actually in mathematics. And then I became a computer scientist for a long time before going to educational psychology and now data science. So to prepare for the challenge exam, I would focus on R initially. The first semester typically is going to be very R based with a little bit of Python, I think in 607, but you'll get to Python probably in the subsequent semester. So I would focus on R if you're going to focus on something. I think any of the online MOOCs that Arthur has up, a few hours there would be enough. I don't know what you did as an undergraduate mathematics. I did a lot of Maple as an undergraduate. So I think moving from Maple to R was kind of a nice transition for me. If you were doing MATLAB, I think that might actually be easier than Maple to R. But of course, those are symbolic programs where R is going to be numeric. It's really statistically oriented. So Greg is asking, so I don't know, Arthur, do you want to, I wonder if this is, so if there is this kind of differentiation between data analytics and data science. So SQL is definitely part of it. You're going to encounter SQL. I think where this program and other data science programs might take you is, in doing predictive modeling and, working with data at a little bit of a deeper level. You're not just building dashboards, but you actually want to gain insight from the data and make train models and predict new stuff or new outcomes as new data comes in.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
I don't know if that.
Yeah, I mean, Greg, if you're content just to do what might be called business intelligence or reports or analysis of the data, descriptive statistics, then it's probably maybe not right for you. If you're interested in designing models that will predict certain things or understand how things have more in common with others and classifiers and principal component analysis and understanding the coefficients of, if you do one thing, how much more will another thing happen? Then that would be a good program for you.
What is is there a hard requirement to have Calc 2? I don't.
No.
No, I think you would be okay. I actually, in my course, do a crash course, sort of a 15, 20-minute overview of like the key concepts you need to know for calculus. So I think you would be okay. Anna's typing the English test requirement. I don't know the answer to that. Oh, somebody's asking for the tuition. Could you go to the tuition slide, Arthur?
Sure.
Yes, it's only, this is a graduate program, so you need to have a bachelor's degree. I don't know what the rules are on taking the workshops. You have to be in, it's before enrollment, I believe.
Yeah, you have to apply and have had taken
Yeah.
the challenge exam, and then based on the results of the challenge exam, you'll either be declined or put into one of the bridge workshops as a conditionally admitted student, or you'll be fully admitted.
Bridge workshops are free.
And they are available to admitted and conditionally
That's
admitted
true.
students. So I encourage everyone that applied and is going to enroll to take the bridge courses, because they really help you transition, and they help you with the learning curve of online learning and how our instructors work and how our learning platform is. So in general, students that attend the bridge courses do better in the program, even if you are fully admitted.
Yeah, we don't require GRE, do we?
It's not required, but if you want to take them, they are available to you. And for those conditionally admitted, it is required, and you have to pass it in order to be able to enroll.
I don't remember how much tuition's up on the screen. How much does the program cost? I guess you can multiply, be about 470 times 30, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15,000.
So
Yeah, we marked it up as about 16 grand with everything, with textbooks and all that stuff.
So if you've taken calculus, probability, statistics, and Python, you're probably okay. You might just want to familiarize yourself a little bit with the R syntax. But if you're coming from Python, I would imagine that not being too difficult. All the synchronous components are in the evening on Eastern time, New York time. I think Arthur said usually between 6:30 and I start at 8:30. So it can be a little bit of a later night, but we don't have formal internships, but we do post them when they come up and when they become available.
Every week I post jobs, and we do have some, especially New York government organizations that asks for interns, but it's not something formal. They, as Jason said, when they come, we post them for you guys to see.
Somebody asked about interest in digital humanities. I'm not entirely sure what that is, and would love to know more. I'll Google it afterwards. Feel free to email me. We get, at least in my course, the breadth of topics that students pick for their project is pretty great, and that's sort of one of my favorite parts of the semester is when I see students present their data. I learned so much. I always like to say, so data science is very closely related to statistics, and there's a pretty famous statistician of the last century, John Tukey, said one of the greatest things about being a statistician is you get to play in everybody's sandbox. And I love that quote. I think it's so true. I work do research in a variety of areas that are not, educational or, data science specific. Federal loan, I guess that would be a financial aid question, but maybe Anna knows. Can you apply for?
Yes, there are federal loans for the program, and let me post the link for the financial aid site, because that's another department that can help you out with this.
There's a capstone course. So there's no formal thesis as there are in some master's programs, but you're going to do a capstone project. To Daniel's question, those capstone courses have smaller enrollment. It was capped at 10. Arthur actually teaches one of the capstone courses, so maybe he can say more about that.
If I can find the question.
Sorry, it's Daniel Garwood. It's
what are the thesis requirements? Yeah, you pick a topic, some sort of project that you want to work on. It typically tends to be either an area of personal interest or something at your work that your current organization is struggling with, and you want to see if you can design a model that will help solve some sort of problem. And you work at it on your own. You can work as a team, but most students choose to work on their own projects. And the end result is a research paper and a model, and some students then use that to publish the article, or they present it at work as a potential solution to a problem, or but they also upload it to a site and put the link in their resume to demonstrate their expertise in a particular thing.
Great. Anna's asking a non-trick question, I think. This question comes up every time and I still don't know the answer. Arthur, what's the difference between the MS Data Science program and the CUNY Graduate Center?
I believe the Graduate Center is something about data analytics and visualization. And so there is obviously similarity to it. We seem to be more model driven and machine learning model driven than the Graduate Center, but that's just my opinion.
I think you can transfer out of, if you have graduate credit equivalent. We don't have any sort of test out for intro courses. Is that?
That's correct. I mean, if you have transcripts of graduate courses that you've taken, we will consider that, and we will grant you up to 9 credits towards the against your 30 credit requirement.
So we got Jason is asking, he's interested and currently an undergraduate with free electives at Liam. Do you know if there's a pathway to begin taking graduate data science courses with free electives while still an undergraduate?
Short answer is no.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, the exam has a section on SQL, a section on R, and a section on mathematics. What you don't like to be transcript for admission purpose for this master's degree? I'm not sure what the transcript question is asking. If you want to clarify, that would be helpful. Yes, there are federal loans. I would reach out to the financial aid office for that. When do you take the exam for fall 2022? Somebody asked, I don't know if that question got answered about summer. We do offer summer classes. We just don't offer 606 and 607 in the summer. So students need to start in the spring or fall. So it's really electives that are offered in the summer.
The challenge test is part of the application process. So when you start applying either for spring or fall, and you open your application and you start filling it up, you will find the test there. And before being able to submit the application, you have to actually do the test and then click submit. So it's not something that it's apart or aside or on a different time frame. So when you start your application, the challenge exam is part of it.
So the bridge courses are, I think we just scheduled them. So they're going to start, is it January 2nd? 3rd? First Monday of January.
Mhm.
And it'll go 3 weeks. So
Jan
the
3
spring,
to Jan 21. It's on the slide.
oh, I can read. I'm reading the Q&A. It's pronounced, I pronounce it CUNY. So that would be, I guess, I don't know. So there is, you don't apply for a summer session. So if you don't start at the end of January, then you have to wait to the end of August. What is a full-time course load looks like? Anna might answer that question. I think the more successful take 2 a semester. It seems like a good load to me.
Yes.
Everyone has to take the exam, and I assume the PowerPoint will be with the recording. Is that true?
Yes.
All right, I got to the bottom of the open questions.
Want to go to the chat box just to
Yep.
see if,
Okay, so there's some duplicates, but that's
yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So there's a transfer from business to data science. I that's an Anna question. I have no idea.
No, you have to apply for a program. We operate differently. Then I would say we will have already your transcript, but you do need to submit the recommendation letters again and the statement of purpose and take the test. So it's not an, I mean, it's an easy transition, but it's not automatic.
All right, I think we answered all the questions in the chat. If not, put it, re-ask it. And I put a link, someone asked, and I think I clicked answer live by mistake. So it's in the chat for whoever asked where the course lists are. I put the link so you can see where the required courses are. And if you click on the course name, it'll give you the description of the course. I'm sensing a lot of angst around the challenge exam.
Yes.
You know, there's no, it's really determining whether or not you need to take the free workshops. So there's, I'd say do your best. Best in terms of studying, I think in the slide deck, Arthur had some MOOCs. So going through the SQL, R, and math. Oh, I guess the edX, I think is probably pretty good. Right, it's multiple choice, so it's largely conceptual. Samuel, I think it's part of the application. So I think is that right? Or so you should receive a link to complete it.
Samuel, yes, you should study before you apply. At least refresh your skills. Jason, can you answer Diana's question?
Oh, where's Diana's?
In the chat.
In the chat. I missed it. I'm sorry. Yeah, I would say this is a very good fit. If you've been doing math and computer science, that's where kind of I have a very interesting path to data science. So I have an undergraduate in math, then worked as a computer scientist for almost a decade, working for different companies, predominantly a Java programmer, then went to graduate school to become a teacher and just decided to do a doctorate in educational psychology. And well, it's technically my degree is in educational psychology and methodology. My dissertation, even though it was about charter schools, was really, its contribution was more statistical in nature, and I became a pretty proficient R programmer and started adjuncting in this program and then started as a full-time professor over a year ago. And, but I've been doing a lot of data science-y kinds of things with educational data sets. So I would say computer science and math are a great background for data science. Yeah, the session will be sent later, the recording. So you can watch it again, Serena or Sarah. Somebody's got a hand up. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I just see a hand. I don't know.
Where do you see the hand?
Up in the upper right-hand corner, under attendees.
Participant box.
Okay.
Allison James has a hand up. But I don't know.
Oh. The hand went away.
Oh dear.
If Allison, if you still have a question,
Yeah, please
if
let
you
us
can
know.
chime in, I don't use the webinar very often. I just use regular Zoom, so I don't know how to let you talk. But you can put it in the chat.
I can turn it on. I can let them talk.
Either way.
Here, let me see.
Oh, do we have graduation rates?
Mid 70s.
Yeah. So yes, you need to have letters of recommendation. They don't have to be from past instructors. Oh, I think Anna's typing an answer.
Yeah. The same.
Sorry. How often these classes,
I'm sorry, is there someone that you wanted to let talk?
no, they had raised their hand and it went away. So I'm guessing
okay.
not anymore. I'm sorry.
Sorry, no problem. I misunderstood. So.
Once a week, the synchronous, and they're always recorded. So they're always available, sort of usually the next day. So you can watch the recording. I always tell my students, I don't really require everybody to attend the synchronous. Students, I think, get a lot of value. But I do expect students to watch the recordings. I think they're pretty important. Lots of, not just in terms of course content, it's a place to make announcements, clarify assignments and things like that. So yeah, once a week. If you want to get a sense, I'm happy to share. I have my course website is open. So you want to get a sense of what the 606 would look like. The link is in the chat. You can actually watch last night's lecture if you wish. What computers? So we have computers that use everything, Linux, Apple, or Windows. I personally am an Apple user, and as I attend our conferences, I would say Apple's probably the dominant thing people use because you have Unix underneath. Linux is something you're going to have to get some exposure to, because if you're doing production stuff with models, and it's often, Unix based, often Ubuntu, but you can run that. You can run Ubuntu on Apple, and so there's no requirement. I am biased, I will admit. I think Arthur's a Windows guy.
Yeah.
I use both.
I'm super excited. The new MacBook Pro should be out on Monday.
Okay, don't rub it in.
They are very fast.
Yes, the summer classes are also once a week. And the summer session lasts 7 weeks. And it's very, very, very intensive. Semesters are 15 weeks. Spring and fall are 15, and summer 7.
Regarding the letters of recommendations, either one, either professional or academic. And yes, Darren, we're going to be sending a link to this video and the deck.
You got it. So usually we just like to send the video, but the deck naturally is going to be in the video during the presentation. So they can skip around if they like. And that's going to be in a playlist that's included in the email.
Oh, if you are graduating on this, maybe are you graduating after the spring or after the fall? If you are graduating after the spring, you'll have to wait until the fall to enter the program. You need to have your bachelor's degree.
Daria is saying, I think Anna's typing. If you mean fall 2021, I think you can apply for spring.
I have to say thank you for a very stimulating
Yeah,
meeting. This has been one of the fun ones. And thank Darian for hosting us, and Anna and Jason for providing such great feedback. And if you have any further questions, Anna's already put her email in the chat box. But we're also posted on the website, so please reach out. We'd love to have you apply, and if we can be of any further help, please let us know.